When most people hear about Jesus washing the disciples' feet, they think, oh, that's just about humility. And yes, it is, but that's not all it is. Catholics see something deeper happening here, something that goes right to the foundation of the church itself. Hi, and welcome to Teaching Thursdays with the Catholic Veteran, where I properly teach and catechize you. In John 13:7, Jesus says, you do not know what I am doing now, but later you will understand. So even the apostles didn't realize what he was doing at that moment, but later, after the resurrection of Pentecost, they did. This was no ordinary washing. It was priestly and it was sacramental.
If I do not wash you, you have no share with me. You cannot be part of what I am doing.
Well, in that case, Lord, wash not my feet only, but also my hands and my head.
Peter, did you bathe this morning?
Yes.
Then only your feet need to be washed now.
You call me teacher and Lord. If then I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, then you also should wash one another's feet.
Okay, let's think back to the Old Testament. Exodus 40, God tells Moses to wash Aaron and his sons with water, clothe them in sacred garments, and then anoint them. That's how the Levitical priesthood began. Washing came before consecration. It's how priests were set apart for service at the altar. And here's Jesus, the true high priest, washing the feet of his chosen 12 the night before he offers them the true sacrifice of the new covenant. This isn't random. It's the moment he consecrates his apostles for ministry. Now, it's important to remember, Jesus had way more than 12 followers. Luke 10 tells us about the 70 disciples he sent out. Other passages talk about crowds of men and women who followed him everywhere. But at the Last Supper, it's different. It's not the 70, it's not the crowds, it's not even the women who faithfully followed him. It's only the 12. Why? Because this moment wasn't about discipleship in general, it was about apostleship, being sent with his authority. And that's a key difference. When Jesus washes their feet, he's acting as both servant and priest. He's purifying them to receive the authority he's about to give them. In just a few minutes, he'll give them the Eucharist and say, do this in memory of me. That phrase, do this, is liturgical. It's priestly language. He's commanding them to offer the new covenant sacrifice, his body and blood. The Catechism actually ties these moments together. Paragraph 1324 calls the Eucharist the source and summit of all Christian life. And paragraph 1536 says the sacrament of holy orders is the continuation of Christ's mission through the apostles. So the Last Supper isn't just a farewell dinner, it's the institution of both the Eucharist and the priesthood. So right there in that upper room, Christ begins his church. Before his passion, before the resurrection, he gives his apostles the authority to teach, sanctify, and govern in his name. St. Augustine actually wrote, when he washed their feet, he prepared them for the ministry of reconciliation. In other words, he's not just cleaning their feet, he's cleansing them to be mediators between God and man. And St. Thomas Aquinas, in his commentary on John, says this act signified the interior cleansing that is required for those who minister the sacrament. So again, it's priestly preparation, it's ordination in motion. Now let's fast forward. After the resurrection, what do we see the apostles doing? They're laying hands on others. Acts 6, they appoint the first deacons. Acts 13, they lay hands on Paul and Barnabas and send them out. That's apostolic succession in action. The same authority Christ gave them in that upper room gets passed down generation after generation. And this isn't just seen in the Acts of the Apostles either. Paul talks about it directly in his letters to Timothy. In 2 Timothy 1:6, he tells him to rekindle the gift of God that is within you through the laying on of hands. And in 1 Timothy 4:14, he reminds him not to neglect that gift which was given by prophetic utterance with the laying on of hands at the presbyterate. That shows that this wasn't a one-time thing. It was an ongoing living practice in the early church. The Catechism, paragraph 77, says in order that the full and living gospel might always be preserved, the apostles left bishops as their successors, giving them their own teaching authority. Every Catholic bishop today can trace his ordination lineage back to one of those 12 men at that table. And that's not a metaphor, that's history. So when Jesus says, you do not know what I am doing, but you later will understand, he's talking about more than washing. He's talking about the mystery of holy orders, the priesthood, and the church he's building. He's saying, you don't get it now, but one day you'll see this is how my mission continues after I'm gone. And that's exactly what happened. The apostles carried his authority, the bishops carried theirs, and the church he built still stands. That's why the church is called one holy Catholic and apostolic. It's built on those 12 men who had their feet washed that night. So the next time you hear about Jesus washing feet, don't just think of service, think of succession, think of ordination, think of Christ anointing his first bishops and starting his church before he ever carried the cross. Because that's the moment the Catholic Church was born, not in the crowd, not in the synagogue, but in that quiet upper room when the high priest himself knelt down to wash the feet of his first priests. Thank you for watching, and God bless.